I was going to do this last week. I also got another story tomorrow. I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to do, kind of step away and pursue this. I will say
pursue my acting career.
It's long days, man. Like they wanted me back there at 5 a.m. this morning and I declined, but
turned them down,
It's just too hot, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to sacrifice doing stories for you guys and stuff, even if I don't put them out, or whatever, or it takes me a while to put them out. But anyway, we're going to currently, because this is in the news currently, and it was a headline, and I already told you it was UFO related. Mm-hmm. And maybe you remember the headline?
No.
What was the latest UFO headline? You don't remember?
Well, we talk about them a lot. We just talked about a weird monolith.
Anyway, you guys are going to find out. I want to start this episode by telling you a quote that I saw. Thought it was pretty cool. J. Allen Hynek, he is...
Hey, Heidi.
What's up, Heidi? He was the... Put beer in a glass, drink, surprise. J. Allen Hynek, consultant to the United States Air Force's former UFO Project Blue Book, once said about UFOs, quote, unidentified to whom? Ah, right?
Oh,
right, dude?
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty badass, dude. That's pretty badass, man. I'm not gonna lie. Tonight we're going to Scotland. I'm gonna pull this up on the Googs right now. It is the town of Pitlochry in the Scottish Highlands. Have you ever been to the Scottish
Nope.
Highlands? Me neither. I'm trying to find it right now. Let's see how cool this thing looks. Oh man, it's kind of a small little town. Dude, I bet like the distilleries over there are the shiz, I mean, some of them are good over here, but in Scotland, damn, right? So we're actually going to a really nice hotel tonight that has a kitchen. We're talking about two chefs. And
oh, okay. This does sound familiar.
Okay, yeah, you know. So we know that they ended up in the Highlands here. I guess it's this stuff. Is this like raised up a little bit?
Well, I think isn't it would be more rural than that, I think. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
It's somewhere there. It's a nice hotel. Two chefs is who we're talking about tonight. Starting in 1990, it's in the middle of the summer. The August heat wave, apparently, of 1990 in Scotland was pretty bad. That heat wave was bringing torrential downpour, thunder, lightning, all kinds of stuff. And we're starting at this really nice Scottish hotel with a kitchen with multiple chefs. And these chefs, a group of them, are outside of the back door of the Town Center Hotel. So that's what it's the Town Center Hotel.
Okay.
Two of these chefs were smoking cigarettes like they do, right? And they're all kind of standing around. There's about four of them. Mm-hmm. And these two who are friends are visibly shaken from what the reports say. They're smoking cigarettes. They're nervous. They said the other night they got off around 8:30, and by 9 o'clock, they were in the Scotland Highlands. They drove 13 miles north along A9 to Calvine, near the edge of the Cairngorms. Am I saying that wrong? Cairngorms? Let's see this.
Cairngorms?
Cairngorms. Let's see this A9.
It would still be light out there that late.
Would it?
Yeah.
Cairngorms. Yeah, so they did drive out here. Yeah, this is nowhere out here. So this must be like a little set of hills. But the hotel, remember, it was down here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Okay, so they're in the boonies now.
Yeah, so they drove about 13 miles. Yeah, look at it now. Okay, there's where we started from. So they're basically going straight up from there to these highlands. This is about 13 miles. That's what it said.
Okay.
Seems pretty accurate. Maybe a little more. But they're in this national park here.
Okay.
And this was a few days ago. This is the story they're telling.
Okay.
They said a few days ago, around 8:30, 9 o'clock, they drove up. They were going to hike. They wanted to just, as Brian Kohlberger likes to say, to stargaze.
Hey, Natasha.
So they're just chilling out. And they want to take some photos. One of them is a photographer, just kind of messing around in it. He's got a decent camera. and they saw something. They saw something in the sky, and they got a picture of it. They don't know what it was. You just saw where we were.
Middle of nowhere.
The absolute middle of nowhere. They see something in the sky. They take 6 photos, and they're all excited at first. This is a big thing, man. Oh my God. This is like, what is this, alien? Oh my God. I'll show you the photo. It's crazy. But
we had like digital cameras back then, so
exactly. But over the last couple days, after the excitement has kind of waned,
I guess we would have had stuff on like a screen, maybe.
Yeah, after things have kind of waned, they begin acting differently, more paranoid. They were paranoid, visibly shaken, smoking more on their brakes. They were nervous. About what? They don't know. They thought someone may have been following them. They knew the military was involved in some way because as soon as they take a photo of this thing, they see these 2 jets, military jets, zoom right by. Now, this is after whatever they saw disappeared into thin air. And then these 2 jets scream by. And I'm going to show you the photo they took. They took an excellent photo, which has been authenticated to be a real photo.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just been released. It was released in 2022. However, there's some more news about it now. But it's been under wraps for 30 years.
Okay.
All right. What they did was they took this photo to Scotland's biggest newspaper, which is the Daily Record. They took this photo to the local newspaper because they wanted to see their names in ink. However, that newspaper never posted the photo, never even ran the story. It was the Daily Record, the largest newspaper in all of Scotland. You would think that would be front page, never even mentioned it. And they had handed the photo over. Now they're outside of this hotel, visibly shaking, smoking like a chimney, looking around. They're paranoid. They really think they're being followed, but they're just not sure. And they're deteriorating. Their psyche is literally deteriorating, and their friends are worried.
From the Daily Mail, as they chatted, a dark car pulled up outside the hotel, and 2 mysterious figures dressed in black suits emerged from the back seat. They called to the 2 chefs by name.
These 2 men step out of this black car wearing black suits, and these 2 chefs go with them, and their friends at the hotel, they never see these chefs again. The latest news that came out about this is we'll ask where they are, where the chefs are now, and we'll see if we've tracked them down or not. They spotted a, quote, huge, solid, diamond-shaped object about 100 feet long, hovering silently in the sky over their heads. So they're in the bushes. They see this thing. They snap 6 quick photos. And one of the reasons it's authenticated as true is because they can tell, like a lot of photos that come in, is maybe like a trick with the light or something. These are rushed type of photos. So things are blurry, kind of just rushed. Like they were just nervous and snapped it. But let me show you the photo. This photo was just released a few years ago. Okay. So this is pretty breaking news. I mean, even though it was in 2022 that the photo was released, there is an update on it. So one second, let me show you this thing. And this is known as the Calvine photograph. All right, tell me what you think of this thing. So this is the original photograph. You see the jet in the background. Now, I want to say, you might not think it's real, but It has been authenticated by some extremely knowledgeable and credible experts in photography.
Wow, that photo is crazy.
You can see it's blurry. This is because it's rushed. Other UFO photos that come in that are faked, this will be in like perfect view.
So,
but
it kind of harkens to like what a lot of people would say is a disc shape, except it's not curved.
Can you describe it?
It almost looks like a stretched out horizontally diamond. It's like stretched out horizontal. So it does still look like a saucer, but pointed top and bottom, like pointed edges, which is interesting.
Do you think it's real?
I mean, if it has been like authenticated.
So this was 1990.
I mean, it totally.
And you can see I think you can see the city in the background.
What's up, Jacob? I mean, to me, I would be like, there's no way that's real. But this is what the photo looked like back in 1990. I mean,
yeah, this is the photo. This is the original photo.
And people are saying it's not. I mean, because like old photos of the Loch Ness Monster, people will say, things are faked from long ago.
That was faked.
Right.
They proved that, I think.
So it's not like people can't fake things even without modern Photoshop. But the interesting thing is this photo has been authenticated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a real photo. Now, that's not saying that this is a UFO. This could
what is that?
It could have been advanced military hardware.
Yeah, but we're 35 years, 35
years, yeah.
After the fact, and we are not seeing anything that looks like this out there.
Yeah.
Still. I think the fact that two, jets were scrambled following it is certainly telling that they didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It certainly wasn't Scottish.
Now, this photo,
British,
this photo was recently leaked. As you're going to see, the Scottish government did not want this photo out.
Jacob says it's a blimp.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely got structure to it. You see it. It's not a solid object. It looks like two things are welded together, sort of. Because it's got a center line and you can see. Dude, I wonder if we can throw it in AI and see if they can enhance it. Anyway, let's get on with it. Fuck it. These two chefs, they're called into this car, these men in black, because they had went to the Daily Record with this photograph and said, run this story. And for whatever reason, they did not.
Okay.
So this was around 9 p.m. They cowered in the bushes. They took a few photos. The next thing they hear is two Tornado fighter jets scream by. These jets were designed to intercept Russian intruder aircraft. That's what type of jet this was. This was during the Cold War. So I guess even Scotland was kind of worried about that.
I mean, not really.
1990. Yeah. As soon as they snapped the last of those 6 shots, that last one being the 6th, the thing either flew away, disappeared, vanished, imploded like the Titan ship, whatever, it's gone. They blink and it's gone. And then they see the jets, which you can see in the photo. They took one of the jets. So the reason the Daily Record did not print the story, as we're going to find out, is because they gave the photo directly to the Ministry of Defense in Scotland. And then the photographs vanished along with the chefs. These chefs were never seen again.
Well, that's crazy.
Apparently, and this is coming out now because there's an investigative journalist who has spent the last 13 years after hearing hearsay about this rumor about the two chefs, not seeing the photo because we just now see the photo.
Right. It was only released in 2022.
Exactly.
So. Okay.
An investigative journalist spends 13 years or more trying to track down the chefs, trying to track down the original photo, finally gets it leaked. He also finds some weird coincidences. For instance, the editor at the time of the Daily Record, like the main editor, was a member of the D-Notice Committee, which is a part of the Ministry of Defense. The D-Notice is also known as the Defense Notice. When they get a D-Notice, let's say you take a photo for a story and there may be some top secret information in there or whatever. You'll get a D-Notice. You cannot publish the photo. You cannot run the story. So it's a D-Notice.
Got it.
The editor was on the committee for the D-Notice Committee for the Ministry of Defense.
So he's saying it would be a national security risk if we were to publish the photo.
Exactly. A national, what would you say?
National security risk.
A national security risk if they publish the photo. The MOD, Ministry of Defense, keeps information like this sealed for 30 years. However, this photo and all the witnesses was supposed to be sealed for an additional 54 years, meaning this photo would not be allowed to come out until 2076. This is because of privacy concerns. If this photo...
Why? That seems... That's an odd length of time. I guess they're going with like a lifespan situation.
I guess. But if this photo wasn't leaked and this investigative journalist, if he didn't pursue this, we wouldn't be talking about this now. So we have an insider who blew the whistle.
In the Ministry of Defense.
Exactly.
Okay.
And leaked this photo. This guy who you're going to see holding the photo, I mean, he's old now, and this is in 1990, you know what I'm saying? Things, you don't even have the same people working there anymore type of thing.
Yeah.
The RAF officer who was retired, Craig Lindsay, he is the one with the photo here, as you see. This is the original photo. So I want to say it's not the negative. There's a difference because it's not like how cameras work now. And I don't know how cameras worked back then, so I'm just kind of guessing. But when you shoot a picture, you get a negative. and then you do the red light thing in the room where you where you produce this photo. So this is what was produced from the negative.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the photo he released.
So is he the whistleblower, are you saying? Or is
he is not the chef. He is just the whistleblower.
Okay.
This photo came across his desk, so to speak, after the chefs took it to the Daily Record. Yeah. So can you read what he says to the Daily Mail?
From the Daily Mail, he was willing to talk to me, and most exciting of all, I discovered that he'd broken protocol that day and stashed a copy of the image before, on Whitehall's orders, sending the entire dossier, negatives included, to the Ministry of Defense in London. I have been waiting for someone to contact me about this for more than 30 years, he said.
This is the investigative journalist reaching out to the guy. So he had he didn't see this photo. He didn't see this craft. He wasn't a chef. He was just working at the Ministry of Defense, and then he sends this to London.
Got it.
So he comes out with it. The investigator describes the photo as the following, and you guys saw the photo. He says that the moment he saw it, this is from the investigator who was doing the case now, he said he knew it was something exceptional. It's a black and white image printed on colored paper, trees, and the fence that you see in the background is a little blurry, as if it was a quick shot. The UFO is a diamond shape, clearly a structured craft and not a natural bending of light or whatever phenomena.
Yeah.
This photo was kept in Lindsay's drawer with a briefing report from the defense ministers of Margaret Thatcher.
Wow. I wonder what the briefing said.
Exactly. Quote, have looked at the photographs. This is what
it said.
This is what the briefing says. Quote, have looked. Now, this is from the office of Margaret Thatcher, like her experts. Quote, have looked at the photographs. No definite conclusions reached regarding large diamond-shaped object. Confident that jet aircraft is a Harrier. Have no record of Harriers operating in location at stated date, time. No other reports received by MOD of unusual air activity or sightings at location, date, time. End quote.
That's weird that they don't have record of a Harrier in the area at that time.
Exactly. Now, when they did look at the photo recently, they found out that this was a Tornado jet, like I said, designed to intercept Russian aircraft. So
Wow.
This could have been high tech technology from the day. I mean, who knows? The journalist took the photo to an Anderson Robinson. He's a senior lecturer in photography at Sheffield Hallam University. And he is convinced that this is a real, unaltered, untouched photo. And this is what he says to the Daily Mail.
From the Daily Mail, he is convinced it's genuine, and if it is a hoax, then a highly elaborate one, involving expense, sophisticated equipment, and flying models, not at the disposal of two jobbing hotel chefs.
The investigative journalist who has recently uncovered this, his name is David Clark, so he's the one that's doing all of this stuff. He tells Clark, the journalist, quote, my conclusion is that the object is definitely in front of the camera. This is what Andrew Robinson, the senior lecturer in photography, is saying. The object is definitely in front of the camera. That is, it's not a fake produced in post-production. So whatever,
it's not something dropped and inserted.
Exactly. And I don't know how they would do that. I think they just take a picture of the picture and have something in the background or whatever, because they didn't have Photoshop or anything. But this guy is saying that it is not that. It is not something produced in post-production. Whatever it was, whether it's a UFO, aliens, or advanced military tech or whatever it is, it's there. He says that its placement within the scene appears to be approximately halfway between the foreground fence and the plane in the background. So you saw the photograph that came out recently. There's news about this that has just came up within the last 2 weeks, and that is not the chefs, because the chefs have never been found. No one knows if they're dead or alive.
And we don't even know their names?
We don't even know their names. But remember I said that the chefs, they were out on their break, and it wasn't just them two. There was other chefs out there too. two, they were all kind of friends. They didn't really work the same hours. They kind of came in and kept this thing going 24/7, the hotel kitchen. But one of those chefs has recently came forward, and he doesn't remember the two chefs who were taken away, but he does remember how their demeanor has changed drastically as soon as they saw this, whatever it was.
But he doesn't remember their names.
Doesn't remember their names. The journalist is still trying to find these guys, but they could be dead. They could be alive. They're just scared.
Could be.
But they definitely probably saw this because this has been in the paper and on the internet. But it is kind of weird that they did not come back. And you saw the village there. It's not huge. These other chefs continued working there for the next 20 years. You would think that they would see them out in town or at another restaurant or something. They're chefs. Like, what happened to these guys? Like, who are they? Where did they go?
Were they placed in like witness protection or something?
I don't know. One of the men in black gets out of the car. First thing he says is, quote, "Cigarette breaks over, lads." He steps up to these men and pushes the other two. After he calls the two chefs by name, he pushes the other two inside the door. "In you go. Now mind your own business." And then they grab the arms of the two chefs who submitted the photo, and they get into the black car. However, one of the chefs who was ushered inside by one of these men came forward. He said that before this happened, this guy's name is Richard Grieve. He was one of the guys who was told to mind his own business, and he attests that these chefs, before they were abducted by these men in black, were, quote, visibly shaken. He had asked one of these men who they were when they were getting pushed inside, and all they would say is that they worked for the Royal Navy, which was obviously, I mean, they were men in black. I mean, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Can you read from the interview with Richard Grieve 34 years later?
Their demeanor changed. They stopped showing up for work, went off the rails, and one began drinking heavily. He was sacked soon after. The other, who was usually outgoing and larger than life, became introverted and sullen. Within a few months of the visit from the men in the car, they both left the hotel. I haven't seen them since. Whatever it was that they knew, they were not meant to see it. They never really talked about it, but one of them said it was the Americans. So it's not like they disappeared immediately following them in the car and they're out of sight forever. They do come back. And then after a while...
They did not vanish right there. I just copied and pasted his interview because I like to be part of the story too when it happens.
You also like to be surprised.
I love to be surprised. But as Richard Grieve said, they went downhill immediately, being more paranoid, and then they were never seen again. Speaking exclusively to the Mail Online, Richard said, quote, "Not long after that, it all went a bit hush-hush, and they started talking about being followed around. They stopped showing up for work, went off the rails, and began drinking heavily."
It was the Americans.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about. No one knows where these two chefs are, but, you know, maybe they'll come forward eventually. I'm thinking they will because now this is out. Like I said, this just came out 2 weeks ago with this new witness. But, like, one more time, here's the photograph.
That is crazy.
And it is a real photograph, so whatever that is 100% in the sky. Whatever it is. You know what? Honestly, so let me go down a quick road right quick.
Okay.
All right, about what it could be. This is kind of like the Philadelphia experiment. Remember that?
Sure do.
The ship that vanished, the Navy, on the Navy's website, I pulled it up, Navy.gov. We went there and it said that the Philadelphia experiment was never a thing. It is just hearsay. But yet they didn't update that website after they recently did that CIA dump of all the records where it clearly states in there the Philadelphia experiment. You know what I'm saying? So they're still denying it, even though we see papers from the 50s that claim that it was something going on. All it did was say Philadelphia experiment, but that's still something.
Yeah.
So apparently there's another project called Project Aurora, and this is started in the mid-'80s in the Cold War days. There had been speculation of a top secret silent supersonic craft called Aurora. No one has ever seen it, and everyone who would have possibly seen it has said that it's never existed. It's just hearsay. But this may be what it was, the Aurora. The two chefs who were talking out there, who were never seen again, when they were talking about it, they said as soon as they basically blinked, the thing was gone. They heard the jet. You could see the jet in the distance, and yet this thing is nowhere to be found as soon as they I blinked, it was gone. It didn't just like kind of do, and it was hovering right there. It was a steel hover right there. It was right in front of him too. I wonder if it spotted him or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hopefully,
that's super interesting.
Hopefully the chefs will come forward. I mean, they're probably not dead, maybe, but
who knows?
You know, I will say this guy, the journalist, is still trying to pull information and find out these guys' names. I was reading a little more of his things. He said he thinks he has like one of the last names, and he's been looking like everywhere. I'm talking about like through thousands of files trying to find out who one of these chefs were, but still no luck. And he's been doing it for over 13 years.
Wow.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll do an update eventually.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know it's not really a true crime story,
that was
but
crazy. I'm glad you covered it because I was curious about this one.
But I do have one tomorrow too. So another story tomorrow. Can't wait. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I don't know, I enjoyed being here with you guys. So
as always,
I guess we'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Kind of run this shit.